What time do you usually make a door-to-door check on foot, Dick?
Well, the last store closes about 11 o'clock, Sergeant. We generally wait until a little after that.
Yeah, 3 robberies in the neighborhood in less than a week. I suggest we break the routine. I'll take this side of the street.
Right.
Ashamed to do such a thing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Pop? Hey, Pop, you around? I think it's the man we're looking for.
I'll go round and back, cut him off from the alley.
Right.
Get to the phone, Pop.
Here.
I think you're a little confused about last night, Steve. There was no error in judgment on your part. You'll feel a lot differently about it when you get strength enough to swing those legs out of bed and start walking again.
Is that supposed to be a joke, Matt? Swing my legs out of bed?
No joke, Steve. The doctor said one.
I don't care what the doctor said. I can't even move my toe.
Doctor assured us all that would clear up. The bullet they took out of your back didn't touch anything vital.
What do you say back? Why don't you just say the bullet they took out of me?
Oh, now, wait a minute, Steve. A bullet in the back means that you were going in a certain direction. It doesn't necessarily mean you were running away from the action. Look, you've only been off the operating table for 10 hours. By tonight, you'll be thinking more clearly.
Oh, sorry, Captain. I didn't know you were in here. I don't want to intrude.
You're not intruding. Come on in.
Just wanted to check and see how the sergeant was doing. The boys in the 11th precinct said to tell you if there was anything you needed, just have to name it. You thank him for me, but I'm okay.
You're Officer Teal, aren't you?
Yes, sir. It's the first car on the scene last night. About 4 blocks away when the call came in. If it happened 5 minutes sooner, I probably would have been cruising right by Barczyk's shop. Might have been able to help. You sure there's nothing I can get for you, Sergeant? No, thank you. Well, I just thought I'd drop in.
What shift are you riding tonight, Teal?
4 to midnight, sir. Also the rest of the week.
Been patrolling that neighborhood long?
2 years, maybe a little longer.
You should know your way around pretty well. Sergeant Ballard will be riding with you for the next few nights.
Yes, sir.
Steve, Barczyk told us about the parka the man was wearing and the handkerchief over his mouth.
Yeah, Johnny filled me in on that.
Found the clothing in the back alley. Also said he was wearing dark trousers.
That checks.
Can you add anything to that?
I only got a glimpse of him. There was another thing, Matt. His shoes.
They were highly shined. And he seemed to be dressed very neatly under that parka.
Well, we'll drop in again. Like I said, don't worry about those legs. You'll be up and around before you know it.
Oh, incidentally, Steve, I went ahead and rented that cottage we had last year, so when you get out of the hospital, you can count on sunning yourself by a pool for a couple of weeks.
Don't get that pretty nurse out there too rough a time when you get back in condition.
Matt? Maybe I did run.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Steve.
I said I was going around to cover the rear, but maybe I was running from that fight.
But that's a lot of nonsense.
Matt, I was afraid last night. More afraid than I've ever been in my life.
With bullets flying all over the place, I wouldn't be afraid.
This was different. In those few seconds, I felt it, the fear. I could taste the fear choking me. If I hadn't run out on him, he'd be alive right now.
What you need's about 24 hours of good, solid sleep. I'll send the nurse in with a couple of pills.
Try to forget it, huh, buddy? Once you're up and around, everything will look different.
I never did like the smell of blood. Take that junk out of here.
Take a look, Barney. Okay, the watch is a small change, but Vorchek's diamonds are legit hawks. He doesn't carry any impression stuff.
I said I don't like the smell of blood.
Well, when did you begin smelling like a rose?
I'm not speaking in moral terms. I'm talking about temperature. Some stuff is hot but can be handled. Some stuff will take the skin right off your fingers if you touch it.
Well, look, Barney. Barney, there's $7 grand here. Even allowing for a big discount on the other end. 1,500's all I want. 1,500 to square me with the last of what I owe to the bookies.
How does it feel to kill a sidekick?
I don't need that kind of talk.
You, Adrian, are a fumbler. You fumbled getting into the big bookie boys for $4 grand. You're fumbling now.
Save your lectures. 1,500 puts me square. My worries are over.
1,000 even.
Barney, this stuff is worth $7 grand to you. Look, Barney, it's 1,500 with me or nothing. It was given till tonight to square myself off the books. I don't get 1,500, I may as well cut my throat right now.
I'll send you flowers.
Don't kid with me, Barney.
All right. 1,500. Now stop sweating. You're smelling up my place of business.
Oh, boy. It's a relief. My troubles are over.
You want the cash, or I should send it to the books?
Fine. I mean, send it right to the books. I'll say it again. It's a relief. My troubles are over.
Live and let live. Kill if you have to. That's me. But after living a long time, I can say that a cop killer's troubles are never over. Your troubles are just beginning, Adrian. They will end, I think, when you end. Leave the door open on the way out. I want to air the place.
What kind of a crack is that?
You, Adrian, are no good. You went on the force to use your badge. You've thrown your weight around, always backed by that badge. You've got more respect for a junk pusher. At least he says right out he's on one side of the fence. People know him for what he is. But you smell, even as a man.
careful worker, Captain. Everything brand new. No dry cleaning, laundry marks.
Probably a million Parkers just like it floating around, too.
He didn't run any risk throwing these away.
So underneath this disguise, the man was dressed neatly and conservatively, either because his job required it or because he liked to dress well.
You know, it could be the kind of a guy that hangs around a bookie joint or a pool room. I mean, these characters usually start out each day with a shave and a haircut and a shoe shine.
Well, a pool room character might wear well-creased trousers and freshly shined shoes, but I kind of doubt that he dressed conservatively.
Might be someone well known to Varchek.
How would you know that?
Well, the gag across his mouth. Might mean he's afraid that his voice could be identified by Varchek.
Yeah, that's our strongest lead, someone known to Varchek. Thanks for the try, Mike.
I guess a laundry mark was too much to hope for, huh?
I'd give 6 months' pay to come up with something like that.
We all would, Mike.
Why would a man go through the trouble of sticking a handkerchief in his mouth if he wasn't afraid you'd recognize his voice?
Voice meant nothing. Said only a few words.
Do you recognize any accent?
Even hard to tell that much.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the way he was dressed, huh?
Well, the jacket and the cap you found. And, of course, the handkerchief over his face.
No, I mean the trousers and the shoes. He had black shoes,
Yeah.
dark blue trousers. The shoes were well polished, right? Now, this guy wasn't polishing his shoes to hold up any pawn shop.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?
Mr. Varchek,
Yes.
I'd like to see some violins. Do you have any for sale? Something not too expensive.
I have two. Both are nice.
How much are they?
This one is $27. And this one is $43.
Oh, I can only afford 27.
Well, they are both fine instruments. You won't be disappointed in the cheaper one.
Could my son try it out?
Sure. Go ahead, son. You were saying, Lieutenant?
Yes, about the man being neatly dressed.
There was sense.
Very good, son. Very good.
We'll take it. $27?
Yes, $27. As I said, they're both fine instruments. This one a little bit better, though.
Oh, I couldn't afford $43.
All right. You send me a ticket to his first concert. Take the boy home. Fill the world with music.
Bless you, Mr. Varchek. Bless you.
You know, Lieutenant, if I were a rich man, I would place a musical instrument in each child's hand. What that music sheds our years, provides us with dreams, brings back part of our youth.
You're a good man, Mr. Varchek. Remind me of my father.
For that, I thank you.
Now, you were saying before we interrupted,
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot again. You know, when the head turns gray, the thoughts come slower. I will use an old tape, not to think about it. Maybe then it will pop back in my mind.
you know, sometimes that works. And if you think of anything you haven't already told us, give us a call, will you?
I will certainly do that.
Thank you for the coffee.
And I will pray for that young man in the hospital that he recovers fully.
Fine, I'll tell him.
What you got down there will qualify you for this month, but it'll never make the pistolty.
Practice makes perfect.
Hey, Jimbo, hit me with a box of shells, huh? Yeah, book of rules, a book of rules. Up to my ears in work, I have to pop down here and qualify because the last day of the month. Hey, you got any idea what baboon wrote that rule into the books?
As a matter of fact, yes.
What they do, borrow 'em from the zoo?
They borrowed them from here. Me.
Oh, yeah, you're the guy that wrote that section about qualifying, aren't you? Hey, I'm all over that target.
I guess that qualifying rule makes a little sense after all.
Stuff about Sergeant Nelson.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
I hope he regains the use of his legs.
We're all hoping.
I'll be riding patrol with Sergeant Ballard tonight. We'll be scouring the neighborhood around that pawn shop. Our man knows his way around there.
Yeah, well, you've got your work cut out for you. Looking for a man without a face.
So we have no clues.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, we've got to work it out for us. Yeah. The older I get, the further away that target seems to get.
Well, if I'd known you'd so out of practice, I would have taken a chance on getting those cigars back you took before last month.
Jim, I'll show you I'm a sport. I'll give you a chance to get those cigars back. I'll bet you 2 cigars I'll put the next 4 out of 5 in the gray.
Okay, you're on.
Have a cigar, Jim.
In short, Captain, the mental process is not something that we can grip and mold by physical strength or influenced by logic. See, when you're working with intangibles, meaning a man's mind, you are, to say the least, treading on delicate ground.
I think I understand, Doctor.
Well, I'm not sure you do. What I'm trying to say is that Steve may never walk again.
Your report said that there was no permanent damage from the bullet, that his recovery would be routine.
Yes, he could get out of his bed this minute and start walking. Except for that psychological block, blaming himself for that officer's death. And the longer he insists that his legs are paralyzed, the greater the danger will be that he's telling the truth.
But he is telling the truth about no feeling in his legs, isn't he? I was there when he got an injection into his leg muscle. There was no response.
No, he wasn't faking the absence of feeling. His mind, his subconscious is perpetrating this fraud.
What can we do to help?
Well, one thing I would suggest is that there be no nurse on hand to take care of his needs after he leaves the hospital.
Well, we're taking him to a cottage now. He'll be alone, except that Sergeant Ballard will be staying there nights.
Good. But I advise that he not be treated as an invalid. Everyone speak to him just as though you were taking for granted that he could get on his feet and walk any time he chooses.
We'll try to convince him that he's his own worst enemy.
Keep one thing in mind. The longer Steve stays in that wheelchair, the less his chances are that he'll ever walk again.
Thanks, Doctor.
Now, confidence from the people he's worked with will go a long way to help lift his depression. But I advise that sympathy be held to a minimum.
Right. Let's go, Johnny. Well, here's your transportation, Steve. You ready? Anything to go? A suitcase, anything the boys brought you?
No, Chris took everything to the cottage this morning, Matt.
Oh, good. We're on our way.
Nurse, would you wheel that thing closer, please?
Of course, Sergeant.
Walk to it, Steve.
Walk? Matt, I can't even move a toe.
What are you doing? Pushing for that big fat disability check while you're sitting around a pool? Now hop over to the chair.
You got a pretty good sense of humor, Johnny, but I don't think it belongs in a hospital.
Steve, get in the chair. I've been around too long to be taken in by a line-of-duty injury being worked for a pension.
So you'll get your 2 weeks off from the department, but don't try to milk it any further.
So maybe I'm talking to a couple of old milkers?
The 3 steps to that chair, you can make it in 1 hop if you wanted to.
He's some actor, huh? He's wasting his time wearing a badge.
You'll never be able to fake your way into a disability, Steve. The doctors are too smart not to recognize gold bricking when they see it.
Gold bricking? Gold bricking? Gold bricking! I killed him, Matt. I killed him. God help me, I killed him.
It's all right, Steve.
Steve, we're only trying to help.
He'd be alive if I'd stayed with him, Matt. He'd be alive.
We're a couple of lousy doctors.
Good afternoon, Mr. Roger.
My pleasure, gentlemen. My business is to loan money, but I wish you luck for not needing any.
Well, I haven't seen the day that I couldn't use more money, Mr. Roger. Well, this is just a friendly visit.
A friendly visit is better than a business visit. At my age, I can tell you it is so. And how are you this afternoon, Adrian?
Same as usual, Pop. Just hoping to get through the night without falling asleep.
Falling asleep. A more wide-awake policeman you can't find. The whole neighborhood knows. They couldn't be in better hands.
Mr. Varchek, we're having a lineup in the morning. Some people that Adrian and I have been talking to during the week.
Oh, people you suspect?
Well, we're sending out warrants to some likely candidates, yes. Sharp dressers who have been known to make a fast buck. And what we'll do, Mr. Varchek, is have these men walk around with the parker on, and maybe even have them try to talk with a gag across their mouth.
I'll be there. But I think those people will look all alike.
No, you'd be surprised at what you remember when you see the same person. The way he turns his head, his body movements, whether his step is light or heavy.
With nothing more than that, and the man denying everything, you'll still be helped.
Sometimes, Mr. Varchek, with just a thread of a lead, you can weave a rug. It happens. Adrian, my car's just up the street. I'll walk to it.
Okay, Sergeant. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Varchek.
Good afternoon, Sergeant. Oh, again I forgot to tell him about the no cups.
You know what?
Cups.
Wait a minute. You got something? You can tell me.
The trousers the man wore, dark blue trousers without cups. That was a little thing I couldn't remember.
Wait a minute, Pop. Wait a minute. Something like that doesn't mean anything. Lots of trousers are without cuffs these days.
Well, it can wait until tomorrow morning when I'm at this lineup. Sure, there are some trousers without cuffs, but there's only one kind of trousers, when dark blue, always without cuffs. Uniforms.
Uniforms?
Yes, I was reminded today when a man from the Merchant Marine walked in and brought me 2 uniforms. Then I remembered. The killer had no cuffs on his trousers.
I still don't think that means too much.
Adrian, it is so. It was a uniform, not a business suit. Now, how many men do I know who have uniforms? 7, maybe 8.
I don't think that'll help us much.
Not help. Maybe not, but it eliminates. I'll make a list of all men doing business with me and having uniforms. You will know what to do with a list like this, eh?
You'll have to put me on that list. I wear a uniform.
Now you're joking. No, I think I have a good answer for the police. A man in uniform. And we'll tell the sergeant tomorrow morning about it.
Well, that'll be something to keep you awake tonight.
Nothing keeps me awake.
Good night, Pop.
Good night, Adrian. God bless you.
Hey, Champ, how you feeling today?
Okay.
Hey, I've got some cold beer and hot pastrami sandwiches. Sound good?
Well, I'm not hungry right now, Chris.
Well, I hope you don't mind my digging in. I've been catching meals on the run lately. Say, that pool looks inviting, doesn't it, huh? Matt tells me you promise to go in every day.
Yeah.
It's good. It's great therapy, you know. They say water works wonders.
Haven't you heard? I need mental therapy, not physical.
Come on, Steve, let's give the medics a chance.
Look, Chris, my legs just don't work. You can stick pins in them, I wouldn't feel a thing.
Steve, the doctors say they find nothing wrong with your leg.
The doctors aren't wearing my leg.
Maybe we'll spend a couple hours in the pool together tomorrow.
Chris, I'm not going in the pool. I don't care to drown.
Hey, guess who I ran into yesterday? Remember that little blonde waitress who works around the corner from the academy? Margaret something.
Margaret Jennings.
Yeah, that's right, Margaret Jennings. Well, she really went for you in a big way, didn't she?
I don't know why you say that. We had, like, a couple of dates, then you came along, and naturally, she never looked at me again.
Oh, come on now. I dated her first and you moved in.
Boy, you sure got a bad memory. I was the first policeman she ever dated.
That's the same line she told me. Well, anyway, like I said, I ran into her yesterday, and we got to talking about the dancing opening at the beach soon. And, well, one thing led to another, and first thing I knew, you and I have a date with her and her girlfriend for next week. Okay, you can have first choice. Anyway, she says her girlfriend's a knockout.
Well, it's pretty obvious I'm not going to be keeping my half of the date.
Oh, we can postpone it a couple of days if you want.
A couple of days? Well, you're sure the optimist.
Steve, I'm not much of a doctor. As a matter of fact, I am no kind of a doctor at all. When they say it's only a mental block, it just doesn't sound like you.
Chris, look, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I think I'm the kind of guy who takes what comes. If I sound like I've been crying from a wheelchair, then I'm sorry.
I have to get downtown.
Oh, it's you. Here I am, playing detective. I made a list of all the uniforms. Mr. Peters of Park Band leader, you know him. Nice gentleman. But I put his name down anyhow. Didn't I look? You came in the back way.
Just like the other night.
Of course. Blue trousers. Without cuffs. Oh, no. Adrian. Of all the people, you.
I'm sorry, Pop. I was in a spot with the bookies. Over my head.
No, I'm next. You were not even on my list.
I can't see any other way out for me. If it sank in downtown, that a uniform might have been under that parka. They find it fits me perfectly.
I don't care for myself. But how long do you think it will take Sergeant Nelson to begin to think in uniforms instead of business suit? He saw you too.
I know. I thought of him also.
You would also kill the detective?
I have to go right to the end of the line, Pop. I don't like it. There's no other way out for me.
I'm an old man. I will not plead for my life, but I plead for yours. Where's the end of the road you're on? Each time you kill, you destroy part of yourself. Stop now. Save yourself.
There's no turning back now.
You're wrong. You you must turn back. Leave yourself at what has been done, at the mercy of the good Lord. this way. I'll call the police. It's best this way.
This may be a little difficult, Mrs. Young. I don't think we'll get much of a welcome, but meeting you, talking with you, just might bring him back to reality.
I understand.
Steve, this is Mrs. Young, Dick's widow.
We met once before at the policeman's benefit, remember? Oh, Dick and I were late to the benefit, and you were kind enough to make room for us at your table.
You shouldn't have brought her, Matt.
I'm glad he did. You know, the day Dick asked me to marry him, I remember he said something about his being a policeman. He said it was more than just a job. That each day he felt a kind of pride, not only in his work, but in the men he worked with.
Why did you come here, Mrs. Young? Don't you realize you're talking to the man responsible for your husband's death?
That's not true.
It happens to be true. I ran because I was afraid. The more I think about it, the more I know it's the truth.
Look, there are a lot of policemen in this city. No matter what they are, whatever their faults or weaknesses, you won't find a coward. Not ever.
Not ever is pretty strong, Mrs. Young.
Thank you, Mrs. Young. If you'll wait with Sergeant Ballard, we'll drive you home.
Don't you realize that a coward would never blame himself? And he'd only find excuses. A coward would not condemn himself.
Chris tells me you haven't been using the pool.
I'm just not in the mood for swimming, Matt, even if I could.
Well, if you haven't tried it, how do you know you can't?
I don't have to touch a flame to know it's hot. I don't have to throw myself in that pool to know I can't move my legs.
Captain Holbrook. Yeah, Johnny. Oh, no. Well, have you fixed the time of the killing?
Yeah, as near as the doc can figure, it happened between 10 and midnight last night. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hold it, huh? All right, that's enough, huh? Yeah, the motive wasn't robbery, the way it looks. Wallet wasn't touched. I figure the same man paid him a visit. Probably afraid Varchek would recognize something about him.
Well, ballistics should be able to tell us if it's the same man, unless he changed guns. Is there anything else, Johnny?
Yeah, Matt. I'd like to lay my hands on that guy.
Oh, we'll get him. We'll get him.
Varchek's dead.
Yeah, it might be the same gunman.
There's one man with plenty of nerve.
Steve, I want you to think back for a minute. Was there anything about that man that would make him believe that you and Varchek might be able to identify him? I mean, a mannerism or something?
I can't add anything to his description, Matt. A neat blue suit under that parka. Later, when he threw the parka away, he probably walked down the street looking like anybody else.
Yeah, you and Varchek both made a point that he was neatly dressed, extremely so. What made that stick in your mind? Were his shoes patent leather?
Just highly shined.
Well, I'll have to be running along. Steve, do me a favor, will you? It's a nice warm day. Take a swim, huh? You've asked personal favors of me in the past. I don't ever remember saying no. I think you owe me at least one favor in return.
You're early, aren't you?
Yeah, I was just passing by. I thought I'd drop in and see if you were going to ride with me again tonight.
Yeah, I'm still on double duty. Scheduled for your car tonight.
Heat certainly stays on, doesn't it?
Until we get him.
How's Sergeant Nelson doing?
He still can't walk.
He's in a nursing home, isn't he?
No, he's at the summer place we rent each year. As a matter of fact, I'm on my way over there right now to deliver this package. A couple of the girls in the office upstairs were kind enough to chip in and buy us some cigarettes and things.
I'd be glad to run that over there for you if you like.
No, thanks. It really isn't. Sergeant Ballard. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I'll be right down. On second thought, if it wouldn't be too much trouble.
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Do you know the address?
No, I don't.
402 Woodley.
Woodley Drive, right. You mentioned the lab. Have they come up with something new on the case?
Yeah, the Westers think they may have something. Let's hope so.
See you later.
All right. Comparison test give us anything?
Take a look. Bullet on the right came from Varchek, the one on the left from Dick Young.
Well, these bullets weren't fired from the same gun, Matt. Markings are different.
That's just the point. They were fired from the same gun, and the markings are different. Almost, anyway. Take another look.
Yeah, you're right. Some of the scratchings near the primer match up. How come they're not exactly the same?
Between the time the killer shot Dick and Barchek, he's reamed and fired this gun. Fired it maybe several hundred times. Enough to change the markings.
Our guess is that the killer started out deliberately to change the pattern of the markings right after he killed Dick Young.
And given enough time, he'd have succeeded.
Wait a minute. That's going to an awful lot of trouble, isn't it? Wouldn't it be a lot easier just to break the gun up or lose it?
There's only one reason a killer would hang on to a gun he's afraid might one day convict him. It's registered, has to be accounted for.
Organization man. Military, maybe a private detective. Yeah, when these fellows lose a gun, they have hundreds of reports to fill out.
Yeah, and they're smart enough to know that they're walking around with a load of dynamite in case anybody, for one reason or another, decides to run a ballistics check on their gun.
The blue ribbon question right now is whether he fired the gun on a public range or whether he took a trip into the mountains.
Firing a gun a few hundred times, even in the mountains, would attract too much attention. Now, this is a smart cookie we're dealing with. My guess is he'd use a public range.
This is Captain Holbrook. I want men sent immediately to all the public shooting ranges in the city. Have them make a complete list of the people using those ranges this past week, particularly people firing a .38. Organizational man. Blue trousers, black shoes. Chris, suppose you were wearing a dark blue business suit, wanted to pull a holdup. Why would you disguise the upper part of your body, the business coat, by wearing a parka instead?
I wouldn't. Wouldn't make sense, Matt.
No, it wouldn't make any sense unless the business coat were organizational, the word you've been using. Like a uniform.
A shipyard guard, maybe.
Armored truck driver?
Or a policeman. No, I wouldn't want that guess to be correct either. Chris, we'll screen all the men using the police range this week. Take a comparison microscope with you and the two slugs, pull an on-the-spot check.
All right.
Our man made one mistake, a big one. Let's hope that mistake pays off for us.
Yeah, let's hope that our man isn't wearing a policeman's uniform.
I'll add an amen to that.
Yeah, you feel kind of bad when you uncover a rogue. But you realize how much worse it would have been if you hadn't uncovered him, all the damage he could have done hiding behind his badge. It's Captain Holbrook again. Put out a call for Lieutenant Russo. Tell him to meet Sergeant Ballard at the police range immediately.
Nelson?
How do you feel?
Okay.
Steve, there's a patrolman Teal on the way over with a package for you. Tell him he doesn't have to come back to headquarters tonight, that I won't be riding with him.
I'll tell him.
And you get in that pool.
Yeah.
So long.
Hello there. Anybody home? I was on my way home, and, well, I couldn't just pass by without wondering if you needed anything.
No, thank you, Mrs. Young.
But I know how you young men are when you're left to fend for yourselves. You live on beer and sandwiches. I have a feeling you haven't had a decent meal in days.
Well, I haven't been very hungry.
Can I fix you something hot?
You're very kind, Mrs. Young. No, thank you.
Please. I'm trying to forget, too.
I'd like some tea.
All right. I'll make it for you, and then I'll leave.
I dug out some more for you, Lieutenant.
How many more you got back there?
Oh, maybe 1,000. We try to clear them out once a week.
It's gonna take days to go through all these.
I see you had 3 patrolmen here from the 11th precinct last week, huh? You had McLaughlin, Teal, and McCory. It's men from the 11th we're interested in.
Jim, did any one of these 3 men fire an unusually large amount of rounds?
All of them did. McLaughlin and Corey had a little side bet going. The loser had to pay for all the bullets. And Teal said something about trying to make the pistol team. Hey, if I knew what you were looking for, maybe I could help you.
Well, what we're looking for, we hope we don't find. At least not here. We're trying to match up a slug taken from a murder victim.
Murder victim? Shot by a cop?
We're hoping the department isn't involved.
Did you say Teal, Adrian Teal?
Yes, he was one of the 3 men from the 11th.
That's the patrolman I've been riding with. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed. This is a waste of time.
You say he was trying out for the pistol team, huh?
So he said.
You happen to recall just how he was scoring?
Well, I can tell you this much. He wasn't team material.
Johnny, here's one.
Sure?
Take a look for yourself. It's dissimilar enough not to hold up in court as evidence. But those are the markings from the murder gun.
Yeah, well, that boils it down to somebody in the department. Probably one of the 3 men from the 11th precinct. Someone who Barczyk saw every day.
Hey, that's a .38 slug. That rules out McLaughlin and Corey. They were using .32 target pistols the morning they were in here.
Hey, that leaves Teal.
He came in early just to ask if I was riding with him tonight.
So?
He's on his way to Steve's right now with a package.
Now, I want you to drink this while it's nice and hot. Can I fix you anything else, Sergeant?
No, thank you, Mrs. Young.
I, really came here to ask you something. I don't quite know if I should.
Well, I'd be happy to answer anything I can, Mrs. Young.
Well, I've been asked to go down to City Hall on Monday to accept a medal on Dick's behalf. I'd like you to go there with me. You see, you were there with Dick as his partner. And if you're there with me to share it, I think the medal would have more meaning. Dick would have... I know I'm putting this very badly, but if you can make it, let me know.
Habit of cutting off phone conversations, officer?
You were beginning to connect me with that robbery at Barczyk's, weren't you?
Just the trousers and shoes. If I hadn't been so wrapped up in myself the past few days, I would have remembered what dark blue trousers and well-shined shoes stood for. Must have had a hard time to keep from laughing, listening to Mrs. Young out here.
I stopped laughing when I worked myself into this corner.
Corner got so tight you had to kill to get out of it?
Real squeeze.
You don't have a 10% chance of getting out of this deal.
It was only a 1% chance I'd have to take it. I was going to let you have it in the back of the head. Never would have known a thing. I think I thought of a smarter way.
Come up with a refinement.
I should have thought of it before. Drowning. They'll think it was suicide. They'll call it an accident. Probably close the case on it as soon as possible. To give you every benefit of the doubt.
You'd have a lot better chance if you started running right now, Teal.
Maybe. But I want all or nothing. All meaning I can go where I want and do what I want without looking for anybody to put the arm on me. Nothing personal, Sergeant. You're a nice guy.
Hey, that's pretty good work, Steve.
Well, I took that swim you asked me to.
I'd like to shake your hand. But you're going to have to walk over here to do it.
No problem.
I'll take charge of our boy.
You know, Matt, the strangest thought occurred to me while I was in that pool. If I'd been afraid that night, really afraid when the shooting started, I wouldn't have gone in that pawn shop in the first place.
That's what we've been trying to tell you.
Well, sometimes you have to find things out for yourself.
Yeah, well, just don't make a habit of it, huh?